This time of year used to be really difficult for me because I used to get triggered whenever I saw a gingerbread man, or if I saw people eating standard gingerbread, just plain old gingerbread, or if I heard somebody ordering a gingerbread latte, for instance, because it would remind me of a very painful time in my life. Because my wife, Dorothy, had an affair. It was with a man called Alistair Cornice. And Alistair was the local baker. And Alistair had a big shock of red hair. So people would refer to him as the Gingerbread Man. And so whenever I saw a gingerbread man, or I heard gingerbread man, I couldn't help but think about that difficult time. I first suspected Dorothy was having an affair after I started finding random baked goods in strange places. I would find small bread rolls in Dorothy's pockets. I once found 5 pano raisins in her glove box, and I even found a yum yum in one of her drawers. And it turned out they were gifts being left by the gingerbread man. And I got another clue that something was going on when I found Alistair and Dorothy together in the bathroom. And the first thing I wanted to know was why? Why had she done this? Was it Alistair's red hair? Was it the way he kneads with his hands? Or was it because he smelled like buns? What was it? And her answer made me think about the role that I had played. Because one thing she told me was that Alistair would always get up in the morning. He would instantly be up. As soon as he opened his eyes, he'd be up, right up. And Dorothy would just need to click her fingers and he'd be there, up, ready to go. Whereas for me, maybe it's because I'm a bit older, I'm a bit slower to rise in the morning. A little bit slower to rise. I can get up, of course I can get up. But it can take me a little bit longer. Whereas apparently with Alistair, he was up right away. And I think Dorothy liked that. Alistair also had some points to make, but I had to say to him, look, can you just get out of the bathroom, please, while I speak to my wife? And he did, and I was grateful for that. Initially, even though Dorothy promised it would never happen again, I was struggling. I was really struggling. One thing that happened was I couldn't eat any baked goods. I wouldn't have a sandwich. I wouldn't eat any cakes that had little cherries on top. And I couldn't even look at a sausage roll. But over time, I learnt how to deal with my feelings. And instead of marching down to Alistair's bakery with a cricket bat, I decided to let go of my anger and focus on how Dorothy and I could move forward. Soon after the affair came to light, Alistair sold his bakery and moved. But he only moved across the street because the bakery was doing really well and he just needed to expand the premises. So he stayed in the area. But Dorothy and I managed to work through our problems. What helped was she'd already had an affair a few years earlier with an electrician who ironically was installing alarms in our house at the time. But we were able to apply what we'd learnt from that affair to the affair she'd had with the gingerbread man. But now it's all in the past. it's all behind me. Everything to do with the Gingerbread Man. And he's behind Dorothy too. She and Alistair, they're now just friends. And it's actually worked out in my favour, because Dorothy loves baking her own donuts, but bless her, she's not very good at it. So on a Saturday morning, she will make the donut dough, and then she'll just pop down to the bakery, and Alistair will just stick his fingers in, widen the holes, and so Dorothy comes back, big smile on her face, and I get to enjoy some delicious fresh donuts. So it's a win-win. The point is, sometimes the things that trigger us can be the very things we need to help us to look inside ourselves. And I know it's not easy to look inside yourself, and neither is it pleasant. I've looked inside myself a number of times over the years. It's always uncomfortable, and it's often painful. But ultimately, it's always worth it in the end. I'll see you next time.